What's going on, family? You already know who it is, the Young Black Man. I am Young Black Man coming back at y'all with a video. For those who don't know, it's a channel for young African American males where we can strive towards success, happiness, peace of mind, and every other single aspect that we can possibly do is tips and advice for young black men as well. So today I've been gone from YouTube for about a year now, and I'm coming back. I think I hit two videos. One dealing with gratitude, another dealing with something else. So I might not, by the time this video comes out, I might not have published that one yet. But something that I see in the media that I haven't seen in a minute is this thing called alpha male. Now, it's always been around. I've been Googling it for years, but it seemed like to me the debate went absolutely wild, or not even so much of the debate. The term has been used consistently throughout to define men in general. Now, although it's been used more from a relationship aspect, and I always watch Uncle Ron, and he was talking about you don't use the term alpha and beta, use the term select and non-select. I'm talking about from a life perspective in general. We've seen the term alpha male being used, and most of the time it's being used with somebody to define what they feel their lifestyle is better than somebody else's, but they can say something about somebody else, or they use it from a perspective actually from a good place in their heart to say, okay, this is what an alpha male is. But a lot of times too, we see if young bros are watching this from the internet, it might not have a father figure there, may not have a brother figure there, or whichever situation you might be in, it's sometimes a lot of times hard to define what a true alpha male is. And although I'm not gonna go all the way to the end of the spectrum and take a 30-minute video try to define what it is, because in essence, if y'all cut the video off right now, in essence, an alpha male or is a male on his purpose. Is a male with righteousness. Is a male of principle. Is a male of character. It's somebody who defends, protects, but also keeps it real himself 100%. He does everything he can to be the best himself, and he has a moral compass. He's not going to do anything crazy or wild. He's not going to break the laws or transgress against the laws. As we know, sin is the transgression of the law. He's not going to break the laws. He's not going to, and I'm talking about God's law now. He's not going to do anything that goes against his ultimate purpose and his ultimate goal. But I do want to define what I believe in a very short video, what true black male alpha is, what black male masculinity is in its essence. So I wrote down a couple of points. I'm probably going to do maybe even a part 2 and part 3 to this video. I'm going to try to knock this out in about 15 minutes, but also say what it is. So this is in no direct order, because when y'all hear it, the very first thing that's going to come out of my mouth, like, oh, wait a minute, bro. But seriously, this is in no direct order, but I thought I would say this. So first and foremost, to me, just off the top of the dome, when I was writing in no particular order, is black male alpha male, black man. So we talk about particularly black men, has multiple streams of income. Uncle Ron talks about it throughout his video. A real man has sovereignty over his life. If you don't do sovereignty, meaning basically means control, freedom, and all these kind of things. So he has sovereignty over his own life. So by him having multiple streams of income, so it might be him working a regular 9 to 5, but he also, has a landscaping company. He does, on the weekends, or he might be a barber, or he might do something else. He might publish books. He might make YouTube videos. He has multiple streams of income because he knows he has sovereignty over his own life. That ultimately, whatever happens, he still has control of his life. If for whatever reason his job decides to have layoffs, or as y'all know, if y'all watching the news currently as we speak right now, Sears is closing about 40 different stores. Let's just say the brother worked at Sears, because again, when we talk about alpha male, people want to think like the NBA players making 7-8 figures a year. No, I'm talking about you're alpha, whether you make 7 figures or whether you make $7 an hour. But at the same time, you alpha because you're not letting this one job define you. You're also creating better things and better opportunities for yourself, so you don't stay in whatever lane you in, but you're growing and propelling. And that $7 can turn into unlimited amount, because again, when you have multiple streams of income and create avenues for yourself, nobody can tell you an hour of your life is worth X amount of dollars. No, an hour of your life is worth whatever work that you put in for it at that time. So he has multiple streams of income. He knows that, okay, hey, I need to do this, this, and this. He also knows that most states are at-will states. I'm people, y'all give y'all a little bit of game. Most states have a clause in there on the books, and it's unfair. Again, that's why when you heard me say laws, speaking about transgression of the law, I meant law from the perspective of God's law, the Most High's law. But you got some laws that are terrible on the books, and one of those is the at-will state, meaning the state can fire you for company can fire you for whatever reason, and they're backed by the state to say, hey, one of the managers might just said, hey, he wore a Malcolm X T-shirt to work, or he decided, not even so much that he decided to wear a pair of black shoes with black socks instead of wearing brown shoes with black socks. So I'm gonna fire him. It's just like that. They can fire you for basically whatever reason. They don't even have to disclose to you the reason why they're firing you. So having multiple streams of income not only creates sovereignty, it helps fight against the at-will state, but also it creates generational wealth for the next generation and legacy to come. And we see that within the perspective that, a lot of times an alpha male or a male on his purpose or a great male is not just so much as what he does while he's alive. It's also, you can tell the proof of a man or the pattern of a man or the purpose of the man is even after he's gone, how people still mentioning him. People are still carrying on his legacy. That's how you know a lot of times too with that in that perspective of you creating generational wealth, but not only that, you're creating a legacy for the next generation to come. And children, you're gonna leave your last name to your children, to your wife. Well, it depends on how that happens, but you're gonna leave that last name to your children and the next generation. They're gonna be proud of that last name because you created that legacy. So that's an alpha male. Number two, I said a man lives a life of purpose. Again, a man lives a life of purpose. He does what he needs to do for his life to make sure that he does everything correctly in the manner that he does it. He's on his purpose, whether his purpose is to decide to own a home, multiple homes, whether he decide he want to leave a legacy, whether he decide he want to start a nonprofit to help young African American males, whatever his purpose is, he's living his life of purpose. He's not taking no weeks, months, years off. And I know saying this means I haven't created a video in years, almost a year. But again, I was living my life of purpose even when I was off of the internet. I'm taking these classes to get one degree out the way. As I speak right now, I'm working on getting another degree out the way. So you see I'm doing these things because I'm living a life of purpose, whether I'm on here or whether I'm speaking to young brothers outside of here through one of my mentors' nonprofits or whatever I'm doing. I'm living my life of purpose. I get up every single morning, even when I get on campus. I'm not getting on, even though it's a lot of, just got to be straight. A lot of beautiful young ladies on campus. There's a lot of good opportunity to go play some intramurals. There's a lot of opportunity to go, go to this party, go to that party, join this situation, join that. I'm gonna live in my life of purpose so that everything I join, every single opportunity that I'm in, and find time to do everything that you enjoy in life. But I'm not on campus for that sole purpose. I also know my sole purpose is to go to school. So not only am I, enjoying a social life, but even then I'm doing a life of purpose. I'm doing everything within an organization, whatever I'm doing with a life of purpose. But I'm also focusing on what I'm also there for. What's the main objective is to graduate and to also, continue to prepare my life. So I'm always living a life of purpose. I never come on campus with one mindset. I'm gonna do just this today, and I'm focused on this, and I'm not living a life of purpose, or I'm doing the vice versa, or I'm coming on campus with a mindset of not being focused, and I let that distract me from my purpose. If you did what I'm saying. Man does what's best for him. I know, shout out to my brother Chris Jones, representing Pump Chasers. If you don't know who it is, the YouTube fitness channel, and a great channel. And it was a big viral video that went out because it was a dude who was on there talking about he said something to the court of he's the biggest clown on YouTube or the biggest simp. He used a word, I don't remember what exact word he used, but he used it to almost, I don't know if he's saying it. Well, of course, if somebody say that, coming blatantly saying that on YouTube, I'm assuming, or he was like, he had no respect for the brother. Like, I say all this to say this. Listen to what I'm about to say. Chris Jones had a decision he made, and I can get into his personal life. I've been watching him since 2011. If you don't know, he did something for his own personal life. And another man spoke about his personal life, which he really didn't have no reason to, but he decided to do it because it's a free country, freedom of speech. And Chris actually liked the video and actually commented on it. But at the end of the day, even though he did that, because he was just being a man, like, bro, whatever you say, it don't affect me. I still do what I do. He decided to make the ultimate choice for himself. And the ultimate choice he decided to make, he started a family, and he's as happy as I've ever seen him. And I say all this to say this: a man does what's best for him. He doesn't let others negatively influence him. He doesn't let others negative criticism. He doesn't let others. He doesn't let trends affect him. He does what's best for him, his family, and ultimately, again, because he's a life of purpose. He's a man on his purpose, and he's a righteous man. He does what's best for him. So he does what's best for him no matter what. He knows what it is. So moving on, alpha male has no addictions. Now you may say, bro, what do you mean? A true alpha male has no addictions. Let me explain. Addiction is a bad habit, but we all have bad habits. But an addiction is an uncontrollable bad habit. So you might go to the doctor, God forbid, none of us are in this position, but you might go to the doctor, say you got two heart valves that are closed. You got two arteries, excuse me. Let me that not heart valve. You wouldn't be able to survive. You got two arteries that are basically closed. They got clots in them. You've been eating all this hog and brothers, we got to get off that pork. Stop. 2019, I bet I said brother with not one rib bone in his hand, but that's another story for another day. And he said, you've been eating all this pork, you've been eating all these ribs, your heart, you need to stop. A real man goes home and says, okay, let me change my lifestyle, let me start eating healthy, let me start doing things. A man that's addicted leaves there out of bad habit and being addicted to the uncontrollable habit and go to McDonald's and go get 3 quarter pounders, 2 Big Macs, and go sit down and go eat all of it. Now, I don't mean this from a perspective of weight, because there's some people who've had heart conditions that weighed 180 pounds. There's been people who had heart condition that weighed 380. What I mean is he just understood a certain important point within his life, but because he has an uncontrollable addiction, he's not able to control his habits. So instead of saying, okay, today that's it, that's my final warning, I'm finna make sure I go to the gym, I'm finna leave here and go get me some baked chicken with some rice and some broccoli and eat healthy. And he leaves there, he can't control himself. So he's not an alpha male because he's not able to control himself, and ultimately he'll eat himself to the grave. Alpha male has no spending when it comes to addiction. When it comes to has no addiction. So when it comes to spending, in 2019, all unks and all the OG talking about living a minimalist lifestyle. I've already kind of basically started that in 2018, but going in 2019. I'm gonna tell y'all something that probably gonna make a couple of y'all unsubscribe, but I don't care, because again, a man does what's best for him. I've never owned a pair of Jordans in my life. A pair of Jordans that pair of number 23s. I never touched my feet ever. Because number one, when I grew up, my folks couldn't afford those to buy $200 tennis shoes. But even as I got older and I'm working a job and I can go out there right now and go buy a pair of Jordans, I say I don't see the value in that, because I can use this to go further my business. I can use this to go get some YSBN numbers. I can use this to go buy me some better equipment so I can do better on YouTube or whatever avenue I'm doing. I can go use this to go buy $200, go buy a nice suit, and then go get it tailored. You dig what I'm saying? So you have to figure out what's best for you. But an alpha male does is he has uncontrollable spending habits. He's not alpha if he has uncontrollable spending habits, and he's not taking care of his family. A lot of people have gambling issues. If rent's due and your family needs stuff, and you spend that last X amount of dollars gambling because you can't control it. Yeah, that's not being alpha. That's being if you want to call it non-select. That's being away from your purpose. So you see, it all ties back in. I'm gonna give you another one. We're gonna get into it. It's uncomfortable, but I mean, we gotta get into it, brothers. And again, this channel is for young brothers in high school, college, post-college, and we were talking about IAmYoungBlackMan trying to get to the best sales possible. No alpha male has addiction, so you can't be addicted to pornography. I'm just being honest. Again, it's uncomfortable talking about it, but I remember one of my churches. And that's why I love my church, because we go in. And it's not like one of these other churches. I mean, seriously, like we talk about when we have men's groups and we have all the groups, we go in on everything. And not only is that poison, is pornography and all this other kind of mess poison to your brain, and he talks about the negative effects it has on it, you also get an unrealistic expectation of what real life is, what real relationship is. But even above that, if you just say, I'm living my life, but you're legitimately addicted to it, you have to watch it. You have to do this. It's controlling your mind. You can't even go to work, or you can't even go to school. You can't get up and do anything, or you spend all night instead of studying for an exam watching that. Is controlling your life. You're addicted to it. Even if you know it or not. The biggest trick that the devil ever played was to tell people that he didn't exist, or let people think he didn't exist. So you even have to watch out for that. If you're addicted to whatever it is, spending habits, pornography, alcohol, just wasteful ideas, just destructive behaviors, you're not being alpha. You might think you are. Little ice cream, little Zay, little Bo, whoever the new rapper is out there for the week might tell you are, but you ain't. That's not being an alpha male. That's not being on your purpose. That's not what the Most High called you to be. The Most High called you to be, I think the scripture says, be of sober-mindedness. In everything you do, consider yourself a pattern of good work. I believe that Titus 2:6. So we see in every single aspect that you have to be on your best purpose possible. So another part is taking care of yourself. So a man must take care of himself. An alpha male must exercise, go to the gym, taking care of your body, eating right, He knows how to defend himself, takes care of himself and his family. Now, you're not trying to go out there and pick no fights. I believe the best conflict resolution is to talk things out. Our brothers are sitting in the grave right now because they didn't understand the principles of conflict resolution, or we lived in such a volatile and toxic environments that it just clashed. Now, sometimes you have to stay on your square. You have to be a man. You have to protect your family at all times. The brother who lost his life, unfortunately, down there in Florida, when he just saw this, he saw this dude, and not even throwing that even in there, but just talking about the exact case that happened. He saw this man arguing his wife and family down there. Maybe, some people are like, well, he should have did X, Y, and Z, but I just make the point is a lot of people protect themselves. If it's even not even looking at it from a physical man-to-man perspective, you see a wild dog chasing your family. And that actually happened to me one time. I'm going to tell a story I never told before. I was at a park playing ball with one of my uncles, and I was like 4 or 5 years old. And all of a sudden, I heard a lot of this barking happening. And all of a sudden, 2, 3 massive dogs came running towards me and my uncle. Now he knew by me being a small person, dogs were gonna come after me. He defended himself, but he defended his family by picking me up, my uncle, real tall, real huge, and put me on the back of his back, told me to hold on while he fended off the. Now, this dude going after 3, and this I knew my uncle for forever be my hero, and how he's an alpha male. He put himself at risk, but was smart enough to say, hey, I'm going to put you on my shoulder, making sure you safe and protected, and whatever happens, we finna get down, but I'm going to make sure that you protected because you under my care. And I'm 4 or 5 years old. You know I couldn't protect myself against them massive dogs. They were bigger than me and probably weighed a whole lot more than me. That's the alpha, because he knows how to defend himself and his family. He takes care and responsibility, and that's why my uncle will always be my hero. Not only for that, but many of things he's done for me over the time, right? He knows how to defend himself. So man has some kind of he learned some kind of MMA training. He learns how to box. He learns simply, whatever art form, I call it. A lot of times mixed martial arts, I call it an art form. He learns whatever he can to learn how to defend himself. A lot of people when they go hunting, they carry what do you call it, bear spray, bear mace, or whatever, those simple little things that you may do to defend yourself. A lot of sisters, I see they carry, mace on their keychain. Now, again, I can't, I'm not talking about women. We're talking about being an alpha male. But again, whatever you might do, whoever created, I believe it was I don't know, I could be wrong. I might not be a brother who created mace or created pepper spray, but I wanted to say it, but it might not be. But whatever you do, an alpha male learns how to defend himself, learn how to defend all those around him. Even if you look at it even from that perspective, in the boardroom, in the business room, he learns, if you buy a new car, he learns how to negotiate, how to get the best price for him and his family if they buy a car, how to make those business moves, how to talk. He takes care of his family. So he exercises, keeping himself in shape. He knows how to defend himself. He knows how to defend those around him, his family. He knows how to keep them safe, keep them in his care. He knows how to, negotiate, rather it being, again, going to the defensive perspective, rather it be in the boardroom, or business perspective, business professional perspective. He knows how to negotiate and so forth and so on. Last but not least, he takes care of his responsibility. If he, creates kids and has kids in this world, he knows these are his kids. He takes care of his kids. If he has a car, he takes care of his car. Whether it be he gets to unbutton the hood and fix it himself, or whether he goes to some kind of little 15-minute oil change place, he gets his car fixed. He takes care of his responsibility, even himself. He learns how to have the right mindset, the right perspective, and take care of things he take care of. If he has a business, he knows, okay, I just sold 2 books. Now I need to, instead of sitting on my tail for the next 2-3 weeks and letting this order just sit around, and as soon as the post office open, I'm gonna go take these books and go ship them, because these people have paid for a service, so I'm gonna go do it. So he takes care of his responsibility in every single perspective. Last 2 points. I said I was gonna do 15 minutes, but it's going a little bit longer, so just bear with me. He is of high value. So again, an alpha male is a man of principles. He does everything by his principles, by his moral compass, and he doesn't let anybody negatively destroy or affect that. He's willing to learn and listen to every perspective, but ultimately he's on his purpose, and he lives a life for his purpose. He don't let anybody change that. He's a man of God. He's of righteousness. He does the things that the Most High calls him to do. He understands the dietary laws. He understands just regular godly lifestyles. He understands the principles of being a man and what that entails. He understands what being a godly man is. So a man of God, a man of principle. He has great awareness of cultural and masculine identity. He understands that he's a black man. Before anything else, he understands that he doesn't live in a fake facade fantasy world. He knows ultimately that he's a man, and he's a man of God, but he's a black man. So he understands that. So he has cultural identity of who he is, and he also has masculine identity. You see that with a lot of alpha males. they have a they when you walk into a room, we have a certain level of assertiveness. And even when I say we, I'm even speaking that which into existence right now. That if you say, well, I don't think I am right now, you're gonna be that, because we walk into a room and we have that assertiveness about ourselves. We understand who we are as men, and our lives become so much better. And it's a certain level of assertiveness, but it's also, if you feel the vibe correctly, it's a certain level of comfort, because you know this man's on his purpose, and we know that when we're on our purpose and we do the best we can, that we cannot be stopped. We're fearless. We go out there into the world and have a level of sovereignty and intellectual, and every single thing we do, we're on it. So it's a certain level of comfort and energy that we bring into every single aspect. And the last but not least is a man of his word. Again, he knows himself inside and out, and ultimately everything he does, he strives for the best, and he's a man of his word. If I tell you, hey, brother, I'm gonna be there at 12 o'clock, to make sure I help you with organizational stuff, if I'm helping an organization, or if I'm out and about, and I see one of the sisters out and about, and I say, hey, we're going hanging out Friday, okay, 7 o'clock, whatever. I'm a man of my word, so I'm gonna be there, right? And then even for whatever reason you see you can't, you make sure you send that text. You don't have nobody sitting up there in every single aspect, just waiting. If everybody's planning to, say, hey, we're in an organization, we're gonna put in dues and we gotta put them on X, Y, and Z time. You let people know enough time you can't do it. But if you're a man of your word and you say you're gonna do that, you do that. If you're planning to volunteer for a community service drive, you say, hey, I'm gonna make sure I'll be there, and I'm gonna bring 12 packs of bottle of water. Or you may say, I'm bring 1 case of ball. Wherever it is, you stay on. You as a man, you keep your word, and you try your best to keep your word. And for whatever reason you see where something not happening, you have that communication aspect, and you're man enough to say, hey, you know what? I wasn't able to do, but this is what I'm going to do right here. This is how I'm going to rectify the situation. This is how I'm going to do the best I can to move forward. A man is a man of his word, and he stands on that. He stands on his morals and his principles. But at the end of the day, he's able to also communicate things when things are right and when things are wrong. He's able to say yes. He's able to say no. You see what I'm saying? He's able to do everything that he does to his principle. So that's just me, a man. Ultimately, a man is a man of balance, a man of peace, a man of prosperity, a man of God, a man of principle, a man of strength, a man of defense. Every single thing is what that is of being a man. So I just wanted to do that video. I heard a lot of people say, alpha male, beta male, and got so many brothers, I wouldn't even say confused, but got them like, okay, do I listen to this person saying that? Do I listen to that person? To me, ultimately, you have to resonate in your spirit what being a man is. But these are the principles of being a man. And again, I talked about so many people in this video. For me, when I think about men, I think about my uncle, my physical uncle. I think about also the uncles that on the internet, Uncle Ron. I think about Chris Jones Pump Chase, who created multiple streams of income. I think about Uncle Ron, who creates multiple streams of income, taking care of his family. It has multiple businesses. Even has a business channel. Now, how many people are actually going to create a business channel to help you in your personal life get better? And doing this stuff from the kindness of their heart. That's being an alpha male is, because he understands building a legacy and building for the next generation. So I think about alpha male. I think about so many great men out here doing and being on their purpose. And again, none of us are perfect. But if we can obtain for the best possible, be the men that God has called us to be, ultimately I feel those are what alpha male traits are. Those are what masculine traits are. And ultimately I feel like that's the man on his purpose and on his journey. So again, I don't like to use those terms. But again, I wanted to define it from a simple perspective for my younger brothers and just for my brothers in general who might, okay, what is it? You see what I'm saying? And have these thoughts and have these conversations, so we at least kind of have a little bit of information on what we feel it is and come together as a collective and say, okay, X, Y, and Z, I'm on my purpose. I'm on my mission. I'm being a man for the Most High, and knowing how He wants me to carry myself for my family and for all those around me, and build even for myself. So I thought I'd make that video real quick. I hope that explained it. I hope that helped a little bit. If y'all have any other tricks and ideas that y'all want to leave, please leave them down in the comment section below. Again, I am Young Black Man, coming back at y'all with another video. Peace and prosperity and just greatness, and hope everybody has a great week. I'll see y'all very soon. Peace. Like, comment, share, subscribe.